Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer. This is Ralph Phillips. Got another good draft show for you today. It's getting closer. We're almost there, man. It is right around the corner. 3 days. 3 days if you count 24 hours. I was like 6:30 from Monday to Tuesday is 1 day, Tuesday to Wednesday is 2. So you could say 3 or 4 days, but I went with 3 days because it sounds better. So we're going to cram in as much as we can draft talk over the next few days. I'm bringing on my draft gurus, Tom and Rampage. Let me get them situated right now. I unfortunately was not able to talk to them all weekend. I forgot it was Easter weekend, and I'm telling these guys, I'm like, all right, we'll get together and coordinate. And like all day, two things to say. But anyhow, all day Saturday or Sunday, I was, doing Easter stuff with the family. But all day yesterday, or all day Saturday, I had some interesting things going on I'll talk to you all about. So get everybody in here. We got people coming in chat. Waiting for, and there's Rampage. Hold on 1 second, brother. Let me get you. All right. I need my audio. I forgot. I'm totally. Yeah, it's one of those days, man. It's always one of those days with me, isn't it? And there's Tom. All right. We got everybody going.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, what's up, man? You have a good Easter?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Just relaxed. Didn't do a whole lot.
Really? I did the exact opposite of relax or didn't do a whole lot. I was busy and stressed.
A lot of family stuff going on.
We went to church and the baby decided that, on Easter, that's when everybody shows up at church, right? It's full house. Baby decides that's when she's going to have a meltdown. Totally disturbed the whole service. We actually had to leave church halfway through, not even halfway through, about a third way through.
Yeah, well, you tried. You made a go of it.
Yeah, we made an appearance. That's good enough. I apologize for not getting together with you guys this weekend to, go over what we were going to do today. I think we had talked about doing inside linebacker, or did we have a plan?
So Tom and I talked a little bit, and he had a lot of questions that he thought might be good to go over. Just some generic questions. I had a few web pages that I wanted to share real quick.
Oh, okay. Let me get the sharing thing. Here we go. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. He said, great picture. He's saying you look good, Rampage.
Yeah, the AI is funny. It's got a ways to go. I don't think that's super accurate. I guess I'll take it. Did you get that share invite for the page?
Yeah. What's up, Tom? You're awful quiet.
Just listening and observing.
Letting us get everything, get all the kinks out, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a good Easter, Tom?
Easter was awesome. It was very busy. Bam, bam, bam. Have some people in for from out of town, so that always is a lot of fun, but also very busy.
Oh yeah.
You guys able to see the screen now?
Yes. Is that Joe Bucs fan? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you see this article?
Surprisingly past it. No.
It was from, I think, last week. I thought it was kind of interesting. It was basically talking about how our cornerbacks are terrible. Everybody thinks our cornerbacks are terrible, which I agree with it. Especially Dean, because he can't stay healthy for the most part.
Right.
But
what about Zion McCollum? You don't like him?
He's okay. I don't know that I'd want to invest big money in him. I need to see more this year.
Yeah, true.
But Joe Bucs fan had an article here where I guess they ranked the top cornerback duos in our division by passer rating when targeted.
Really?
And surprisingly, our cornerback pair fared better than everybody else in the division. I wouldn't have believed that with names like J.C. Horn on there. And look, they're even lower than J.C. Horn in the passer rating given up.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know,
I would have never guessed that.
Me neither. But I think a part of it could be, you know, we didn't get a lot of stats on the defensive line, but our defensive line got a lot of pressure last year, and quarterbacks are having to get the ball out quick. So that might have been a contributing factor.
Yeah, I just remember Dean basically being 20 yards off, and they would do a 15-yard out, and he would run up and push him out of bounds at the tail end. So
right.
I guess that really helps your passer rating, right?
It can't hurt it. That's for sure.
And then, do you guys follow Joe Bucs fan? Do you watch his articles a lot?
Yeah. I listen to the podcasts, all that good stuff. Yeah.
I was reading this one, and it's basically just talking about Jason Light and how much he loves Dennis, that linebacker. Of course, he's going to say this because they're on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
But he says he thinks he's a very good starting linebacker in the league. And then they basically say, I don't know why Joe Bucs fan feels this confident, but he says Joe's knowledge of the situation as well as Ira Kaufman says the opposite. Don't expect the Bucs to draft an inside linebacker at 19. So we'll be able to see if Joe Bucs fan actually has any inside information.
Interesting.
Because he appears pretty confident with Ira Kaufman that they're not going to draft one. I would be pretty shocked if Campbell's on the board and they pass him up.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Interesting.
Who did you say that they liked?
The Joe Bucs fan?
Yes.
So that article, basically, they were just saying that based on his inside information, quote unquote, he does not think that we'll be drafting an inside linebacker, and neither does Ira Kaufman. They didn't specify which position they thought we would take over that, but they pretty much flat out guaranteed in that we won't be taking him, which I was pretty shocked by that. And it appears in more recent articles that he's walked that back a little bit. I read one from today where he said that the shoulder injury is a concern, but the big reason why he doesn't think that we'll get him now is that he doesn't think he'll be there.
Yeah, saying that people think Atlanta's going to get him is what I heard.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you read that article, he says we won't be taking an inside linebacker at 19. So he made it seem like he's got knowledge that they don't value that position, a first round worthy position, which Light has taken it in the past. So he would have had to change his mind on that. Light and Bowles were both on the team when they drafted White top 5.
Right. Yeah. Well, maybe they learned their lesson.
I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting reading through the confidence that he had in saying that.
Yeah, that is interesting.
That was basically it as far as sharing the articles. Tom, did you want to do those questions, or what are you thinking?
Well, I've got the questions. I got 12 of them. If you want me to ask you guys.
Yeah, we can do that.
Is that okay, Tom?
It's your podcast, and I'm ready for them. So
yeah, we talked about it a little bit.
I watched J.C. Allen's podcast, and he thinks that they are going to take Campbell in the first round if he's available.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty shocking if they pass up on him and he's on the board, because he's a great athlete, he fits the needs, and seems like a pretty safe pick as long as you believe that shoulder is going to heal up.
Yeah.
Whereas the two edge guys, you got to check out the character, and then the cornerbacks or something with them, the injury, something like that. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out for sure.
I put in the description, and I didn't want to get into this while I got you guys on camera because I know we have a limited amount of time. But I just want to say, after we get off here, I'm going to talk about Jihaad Campbell because I was able to watch full game, all 22 of him. I got multiple games. That's what I spent all day Saturday doing. So I have some observations of Jihaad Campbell, but
did you watch the LSU game?
No, I ended up
I've
watching.
heard that one. He knifes through the A gap, B gap, and makes some plays. But then I saw someone comment, I think it was on Joe Bucs fan, that they did not think he played well in that game.
Really?
Most people say he did, so I was just kind of curious if you had caught that one.
I was able to get through 2 full games, Georgia and Vanderbilt. So it's
And
not
you didn't
enough.
share?
What's that?
You didn't share with us?
I put the link in the description of this video if you want to go look at the film. There's a guy, his name is Chili. He's got quite a few of our draft prospects, almost full seasons online of all 22. So if you got
Does
the
he
time,
just post all 22, or is he a Bucs fan?
he just posts all 22. He's
Okay.
only got a few videos up, but most of them are our prospects. So I don't know if he's a Bucs fan or what.
Yeah.
So anyhow, let's get to these questions, guys. Now, this first one, I assume it is in reference to this past year, but what is the biggest disappointment that you guys saw on tape? Tom, is that for 2024 Buccaneers season is what you're referencing there?
I'm sorry, I didn't make that clear. That was on the tape of the prospects that we watched.
Okay. So with the college prospects that we have watched, what's your biggest disappointment you saw on tape?
My biggest disappointment is the safety from South Carolina. It's got a very difficult name to. What's his name?
Eman
Wari.
Yeah.
Eman Wari runs like a 4.38 40. He's like 220 pounds, 6'3", I think. He's big, he's fast, he's strong, and he's a powder puff. He doesn't hit. He doesn't help out with the run. He literally, if a pass is coming in his area, he literally barely touches the receiver and they just catch him. I was extremely disappointed in him. I thought he could come in and be our number 1 pick. I thought he could play some linebacker. I thought he could play some strong safety. I thought he would be like a Bowles, do it all type of player that could be all over the field. And I think he's awful. I wouldn't pick him in the first or second round.
Wow.
Mind you, 6'3", 220, safety, 4.38 40. And I didn't see him playing at that game speed either. He didn't seem to be all over the place. Another thing about him, he doesn't attack blocks well. Once he gets blocked, he just I thought I was watching Devin White when he used to get blocked. I mean, I was very disappointed in his tape. And I think Rampage was too.
Yeah, I'm actually in complete agreement. He was my top guy. When you look at him on paper, he's got everything you look for, is physically, speed-wise, all that. But then you watch him, and the cut-ups that I was able to view, he doesn't stand out at all. He's not super aggressive to get in there and hit people. He's very hesitant with that. I mean, I wouldn't say he's a bad tackler, but he's not looking to lay you out. And at 229, you should be looking to lay people out with 4.38 speed. He basically looked like he was going through the motions. And then the interceptions I saw that he had, I think he had one very long pick 6 where he caught it in the end zone and ran all the way back. Basically, the quarterback, he just dropped into like a buzz zone, this Eman Wari guy, and the quarterback just threw it right to him. It's like he didn't see him. So it wasn't like Malachi Stark's interception where he's doing all these acrobatics, body control, catching it, going up at the high point. It was just like a here you go gift. The other guy I would say, and I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of him because I really focused more on defensive players in this draft, but Tedororia McMillan, he's like one of the top wide receiver guys. I may be saying his first name wrong, but to me, he looked very slow, sluggish in and out of his breaks. He more so will just take the ball away from people. And I don't know how well that's going to work when you can't get separation. Now, Mike Evans has been able to do it, but I think with us watching Mike Evans, we're aware he does get away with some push-offs sometimes. Is McMillan going to be afforded that same ability? And also a big difference is Mike Evans has 35-inch arms, and McMillan has 31-inch arms. So he doesn't have that pterodactyl wingspan that makes him the freak that Mike Evans is. I still think he'll be a pretty good receiver, like a decent receiver. I just would not probably take him in the top 10.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was it for
Mike-
the top disappointing guys.
Yeah. Now we're going to flip
Mike
it.
Evans Mike Evans pushes off. I've never seen that on film.
Yeah, he gets afforded some great push-offs sometimes to our benefit, so I'm not complaining too much. But
I still to this day I think that he gifts the referees new TVs or cars or something because he gets away with so much, man. Okay, we're going to flip it, and this time it is who is the most impressive that you saw on tape of the draft prospects?
did you want to just rotate, Tom? I'll answer first, then you answer first the
Sure.
next question? Okay.
Sure, go for it.
So for me, the most impressive was definitely the edge rusher, Mike Green. I didn't get to watch Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, but when I was watching all those edge guys, he was just super explosive off the edge, rare speed, acceleration, agility. I believe he'll be an impact pass rusher day one if you want to just make him a third down pass rush specialist. Also, most impressive, Barron, the cornerback. He's from Texas. He's only 5'9", so I wasn't super intrigued with him based off of his height. But when you watch him, he plays much more physical than you would expect. He actually plays like you would expect Eamon Wari to play. I mean, he loves getting in there and run defense. He makes plays on the ball. Yeah, I mean, I would be pretty thrilled with him at 19 too. And he has a clean bill of health. But now people are projecting him to go top 10. That's really changed in the last 5 or so days.
Wow.
So probably my most impressive was Will Johnson. He's a cornerback out of Michigan. The guy is everywhere. I've never seen a guy anticipate like Will Johnson does. He intercepts several passes. He's got great feet. This guy ran a 4.56 40. I normally wouldn't even think of drafting a corner that's that slow. But I didn't see it in his film. I mean, he looked fantastic. He kept up with he shut every receiver down that I saw him going up against. I didn't see every game, but he actually shut down just about any of them. He's an excellent run defender. He's 6'2", 202. He's got fairly short arms, but if we picked him, I say bye-bye to our Ralph's favorite cornerback there.
Actually,
And I also liked
Malachi. Go ahead.
I also liked Malachi Starks. I thought he was a great safety. I thought he played above his speed too. He ran a 4.5 40. He's a big hitter, a big player. He can play slot. He played corner. He plays deep safety. I don't know if he can play strong safety. I'm not real sure about that, but I think he has the potential to be a superstar. And him and Winfield in the backfield, I think that would be fantastic.
Nice. So out of all these guys we've talked about, and we kind of touched on this a little bit last week, but who would you pick?
So for me, it's either Green or Pierce. Now I could see them falling to us in the second round because I just think that their ability to impact from the edge with their explosiveness is something that we don't have as a team. We have a lot of guys who are very methodical on the edge, getting to the quarterback. We don't have someone that's just going to burst around the edge, and you're going to have to account for him. But depending on the character concerns, yeah, they could be there in the second round. So if that doesn't check out, I would say we're both really high on Campbell and Johnson. So if either one of them are there, that would also be a home run pick.
So at 19, would you pick Campbell? Is that your guy at 19?
For me?
Yes.
If the character checks out, I'm going Green.
Okay.
Or Pierce. If the character doesn't check out, if I have any second thoughts, then I'll go with Campbell or one of those cornerbacks. I would not take an injury risk cornerback like Ravel.
Yeah.
And I also would not take Gray Zabel, the guard. If I'm going to take a guard at 19, it's going to be Tyler Booker, because from what I've seen on film, he's an elite pass protector. And I think people got in Baker's face way too much last year. He had to move around, play hero ball, break tackles, get loose of when they're grabbing his jersey and everything. And I think Booker would put a stop to that day one.
All right, Tom, who would you pick?
I would take Campbell heads and shoulders above anyone else. He's just such a need. He's an outstanding player. A few things about Campbell is he came to Alabama as an edge player.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody remember when Micah Parsons, he was also picked as a middle linebacker? He's not playing middle linebacker anymore. He's playing edge. So Campbell might be the best edge in the draft too. Who knows? He's also worked out exclusively at edge since the draft until his surgery because he knows edge is a premier position and he wants the most amount of money, I'm sure. But right now we have such a need at middle linebacker. I don't think we have anyone basically that's an NFL caliber linebacker other than Levante. So I would take Campbell based on his productivity. I think I think 10 years from now, he could be a 4 or 5 time All-Star. And I think we need a middle linebacker, and he could also play edge.
All right, Tom, going on that line, who do you think that Tampa is going to pick?
I don't think Campbell will be available. Wow. I think that they will take the edge from Boston College.
Roku or something like that.
These names kill me. I think they'll take him. I don't think they'll take Green or, they might take Pierce too. Pierce doesn't have anything major other than I don't just kind of think his coaches kind of said he was lazy or something. So Pierce might sneak in there too. But the safest pick I think is Imanari or however you say it. I don't think Campbell will be there.
Rampage, who do you think?
I think Campbell will be there. I just feel like pass rush is going to go ahead of him. If he's not there, I think they'll take Malachi Starks. I think he'd be a great value.
Wow.
Couple follow-ups to things that have been discussed. So I heard a little bit more about Pierce. A lot of people they have said that he's immature. And I also heard people talking about how he apparently has really bad anger management issues. Like he'll just turn on a dime and get pissed off. So that's just something that we're not going to be aware of until a couple of years down the line.
That could be a bad thing or a good thing, playing that position.
Yeah, he's also 21. So you got to take into account, how much, if we put him in our locker room, and Light has said he has faith in our locker room, can you get past those things? It's not like he has a huge criminal record or anything like that. But yeah, I would say Campbell or Starks.
We picked a middle linebacker that ran like in the 440s a couple years ago from Tennessee who had a terrible, terrible reputation. He wasn't even in town for a week. We got rid of that guy, and I don't even remember his name, and he's never been picked up. He's just gone. And
did they draft that guy, or was he an undrafted guy? I can't remember who that is.
Undrafted. He was an undrafted free agent.
Rampage.
He was a stud. He was a stud as far as a talent, but he had like felonies and arrests and all kinds of stuff. I think he got kicked off of Tennessee's team 2 or 3 times, was allowed back on. I can't remember his name, but he didn't make it a week, so he must have just been awful as far as his character goes.
Now, last year, Rampage, nobody picked, or 2 years ago, nobody picked that the Buccaneers were going to get Cansey. Who do you think could be a surprise pick for Tampa this year if they decide to trick everybody?
I think a guy that I've already brought up, Zabel, the guard, because he's a small school guard.
Oh, loves them small school guards.
Yeah, and we visited with him. I think he was a top 30 visit, and he's projected to go in that range around 19. He could go anywhere or as early as probably 15 all the way to pick 50. But I know that we've shown interest, and Light does love him some offensive linemen.
Yeah, those small school offensive linemen too. Them and kickers. He loves kickers too.
Right. And from what I've seen with Zabel, I like him on film, but I don't love him on film. I think he could develop into being a quality offensive lineman. He probably would, worst case scenario, be average, but I just think there's going to be a lot better players available on the defensive side of the ball and even at receiver to take with that pick. Or if you're going to go guard, go Booker if he's there, in my opinion.
Tom, who do you think? Surprise first-round pick for Tampa.
I think that any of the wide receivers they could pick, I guess the one that would be most likely available would be, once again, these names, I don't know where these cats get these names from, but Imaka Ugbuka from Ohio State. I think he's an outstanding wide receiver, 4.45 40. I think he'd be a great pick, and I think we need a young wide receiver, and they just might do it, especially like Rampage seems to think that we're not going to take a middle linebacker, so I think we could take a receiver.
Well, that brings me to the next question, Tom. Mike Evans is not going to be around much longer. Levante David's not going to be around much longer. What veteran on the whole team should Tampa be looking to replace in this draft?
Are we including your favorite corner? Because I kind of count him as being already gone.
Yes, 100%.
Well, then him. But other than that, I think we need to find a replacement for Vita Vea. I mean, he's getting up there in age. I worry about his conditioning as he gets older.
Wow.
I don't think he's been as effective the last couple of years. He lost weight. I don't think that really helped him. The year before, he was heavy, and he was just fourth quarter coming around. He seemed to be breathing hard. If we could find a really stud defensive tackle, and there's a few early in the draft, one from Ohio State and two Michigan guys. I don't know if any of these guys will be there for us, but they're studs. And if we could get one of them, we might want to look for a replacement for Vita Vea.
Well, that's interesting. I never would have guessed that. Rampage, what do you think?
My answer is going to be a little bit long. I have this typed out, but my answer basically is Hassan Reddick right off the bat.
Wow.
Because I don't think that he has based on what we've seen, the ability to impact the game as a pass rusher that as far as we're going to need to win a Super Bowl. Here's the lengthy answer, though. I don't think Walker Jr., that's the new linebacker we got from Miami, Dean or McCullum are bad enough that they would prevent us from winning a Super Bowl. I think Bredesen and Mock potentially are. If we had to beat the Eagles or Chiefs, which is likely to win a Super Bowl, Jalen Carter or Chris Jones would likely beat either guard like a drum, and Baker would start trying to play hero ball, resulting in turnovers. Defensively, our edge rushers cannot consistently impact the quarterback. To win a Super Bowl, you're going to have to be able to not only get sacks, but constant pressure with four guys up front. We can't do that right now. You can hide linebackers who aren't elite versus the run or pass by rotating in specialists or by playing more defensive backs, such as Tyke Smith in coverage situations. You cannot hide guys who can't get pressure one-on-one. You will simply have to blitz and stunt, thereby leaving large gaps in your defense and your secondary exposed. I believe every position on the team is either a need now or will be within a few years outside of left tackle and free safety for Winfield, barring injury for both. The Vikings drafted Randy Moss when they had Chris Carter and I think Anthony Reid, two 1,000-yard receivers the year before, which in the 90s was a big deal. They needed anything but a wide receiver. Randy Moss turned out to be the biggest weapon in the league. The Chiefs drafted Mahomes and traded up to do so when they had Alex Smith, who many thought was an above-average quarterback under Reid. The draft, in my opinion, is for taking the biggest star on the board at your selection. Free agency is for filling needs to the point that they won't bottleneck your Super Bowl aspirations, which I think we've already done, especially if they believe Dennis is a great player and that he's going to stay healthy. Not saying I wouldn't take Campbell. Campbell's a great player. If he's there at 19, I want to be happy with it. But just kind of my opinions on the whole need thing and who needs to be replaced.
Wow. You wrote an essay. That was quite impressive, man.
Yeah, 2 paragraphs. Yeah. Put some work into that one, right?
Yeah, that was nice, man. All right, now, what about...
You know what I heard today?
What's that?
I heard Cansey saying that he was going to lead the league in sacks this year.
I saw that.
If he played in all 17 games. And I think Diaby, I don't think he quite went that far. I think he said he was going to lead the team in sacks.
Yeah. Diaby said he thought he had figured out the secret of why he couldn't close the deal and get sacks. So these words are nice. It's
Yeah,
great to
right.
say that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we haven't seen one guy stay healthy, and we haven't seen the other guy finish with more than 7.5 sacks.
Right.
So
Okay.
hopefully they pull through with that, but that's off-season chatter.
Which one you think would be more likely?
I don't see Cansey leading the league in sacks because he's an interior player. I think Diaby could very likely finish with more than 7.5 sacks, and actually he should because it's his third year and he got 7.5 his rookie year. So based on his training, his fundamentals, and his strength and conditioning, it's year 3. It's time to get some double-digit sacks.
That's
Now
right.
Dean has to cover guys within 15 yards for that to happen, but
Yeah. Rampage, you've got.
I think they're both going to have big years, and hopefully Dean isn't around.
Cansey, I'd just be happy if he could stay healthy all the games. Because this guy gets these little nicks and then he's out for a month and a half. It's like, dude, toughen up a little bit. Easy for me to say sitting here not playing, but these injuries don't keep everybody else out as long as they do him.
Rampage, you've got what appears to be some of your students in the chat. They are constantly saying, Mr. Hunter, Mr. Hunter. We got North Pole Teddy, Kaysen, and Chaz B.
That's my dudes. Thanks for tuning in.
They are trying to get your attention.
Yep. Yes. I don't have the chat pulled up, so I can't see them. I'm looking at us right now.
Yeah. Joe says we need Cansey to not miss multiple games this year. That is so true. And he did reference that in his interview. He said that he thinks those days are behind him. So, of course, like you said, Rampage, this is what you want to hear from these guys. It's all talk. We'll see when the season rolls around.
Yeah, I wonder why Cansey thinks those days are behind him.
Yeah, that's right.
Has he done something different as far as in his conditioning? Do they have a different strength coach in there? Like, what's going on?
It might be he's coming up on a contract season. So, he's going to want to play full games going forward.
Yeah, is he going into year 3? Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's year 3 now.
Yes.
So he was a first-round pick. He should have another after this and then the option year.
Right.
So we'll have a good idea on him by then, what he's worth.
Okay. Yeah, we got about 10 minutes left. Let me ask you this one. Baker Mayfield, he's getting kind of old. He hit 30 this year. Should we draft a quarterback if one's available?
So normally I'm a fan of drafting a quarterback every year, especially if you're able to trade down and accumulate bonus picks to where you can take a guy to challenge at least the third quarterback on your roster. But this year, I do think it's a pretty weak class. There are a few guys later on, like way later or undrafted, like Tommy Malat. I've mentioned him a few times. We haven't had a chance to look him up yet. I might take a chance on him. He's like a smaller guy, but he's 6 foot and he runs a 4.3, and he's got a good arm. But I also would be cool seeing how Pratt develops. He's the guy that they stole off of a practice squad last year. I think it was Green Bay. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
I want to see if he can make the roster. I'm not really a huge fan of bringing Trask back because what has he shown you at this point that makes him worth a roster spot, even if he is cheap?
Mm-hmm.
But I would skip it unless we can get a guy in the 7th we have rated way higher, or an undrafted guy that we can bring in that wouldn't cost us anything but a little petty cash.
All right. Tom, what do you think? Should Tampa draft a quarterback?
I was big on Pratt last year, so I want to see what Pratt has. And we haven't really seen anything from Trask, good or bad. So I want to see what he has too. So we only have 6 picks, unless we can get a really good, undrafted free agent coming in. I still don't think we really have room for him. Let's see what these guys will give us first, and then maybe if we need a quarterback, look next year.
I concur. Now, who do you not want Tampa to draft?
Who do I not want Tampa to draft?
Yes.
Rampage is going to light a fire under me. I don't want us to waste a draft pick on an edge. I think we have enough edge talent. We've been drafting edge for how long now? We need to see what those guys give us. I mean, we have, hold on, I'm looking here. I would like to get rid of Logan Hall, that's for sure.
I think this is a contract year for him, isn't it?
So we have Diaby, we have Braswell. Definitely want to see what they give us. We just signed our free agent. We need to see what he give us. How many straight years are we going to pick an edge before we finally find one? Let's just skip a year. We have these young guys. Let's see what they can do. I think somebody will come through. Let's just don't draft an edge this year. They're not working out anyway.
Good point. Rampage?
You got to wonder why we take all these guys and none of them develop. Is it coaching? Is it drafting? Like something's going on there.
All right.
And all I know is the guys that we have, they haven't shown me enough to have confidence that they're going to put pressure on Mahomes like we did last time we were in the Super Bowl. That would win us a Super Bowl game. Well, with the guys we have now, what we've seen from them, Mahomes would put up 45 points on us. And we're not getting 45 points on Spagnuolo's defense. The position that I would just say a position outside of like two guys, cornerback, I would not want to take. I do like that Johnson, that Tom was really impressed with his film. I liked his film a lot too. He's got great instincts. He jumps on the ball like nobody really I've seen. I mean, I haven't scouted as much cornerbacks in the past as this year, but he's really good at that, anticipation. And then I like the guy out of Texas, the shorter guy, but he may just be a nickel for you. Now, a nickel in today's league is a starter. So I do think that would be worth the 19th pick if you believe that he could be great. And based on everything you see on film, he would be. But outside of that, I don't like any of the corners. They have injury risks. There's one thing or another with them to where I just don't think they're worth 19. Let's go ahead and see if we can trade down and pick them up later, if anybody's offering anything.
Interesting. Now, speaking of that, would you trade down? I mean, do you think trading down from 19 is something that the Bucs are going to consider or that you would consider in this draft?
So to me, I would trade down if we got good value, because many analysts have the talent pool between the players rated 16 and 100. However you order those guys, it's pretty closely together, and we have a lot of future concerns. I really like Green, Pierce, and Campbell, so it'd be difficult for me to move down if any of them are on the board. With Starks and Johnson, the corner, I would stick and pick unless I received a future first and still retained a top 32 pick this year. So it would take quite a bit for me to move down. I'm not going to take garbage picks. Right. We're going to have to get some 1s, 2s, 3s, that kind of deal. But I would consider it. I would always consider it if I were a GM.
Tom?
I agree with Rampage. First of all, I agree with his take on the two cornerbacks. The top two, the Rebel guy and the Johnson guy, are the only ones I would take. And it still scares me that Johnson runs a 4.56. He looks so good on tape, but a 4.56 is slow. For instance, Campbell's faster than he is. I would always look to trade down. Maybe if Campbell's available, maybe I wouldn't, because I think he's miles ahead of everyone else at the linebacker position this year. But trading down always works out well, and I think I would just trade down.
Interesting. Now,
especially if you can pick up, like a third round pick, or we already don't have a sixth. Maybe if you can get a good third and a sixth, we already don't have a sixth, and you only have to move down, 5 spots at the most. Yeah, I would do that. Because you're going to get a good player anyway.
So what about the exact opposite? What about trading up this year? What do you guys think about that?
So off the cuff, based on the last comments, I will say if Campbell's on the board and they trade down and then they take Knight later, I would not be happy with that. I'd rather just stick and pick Campbell, because Knight, he's the guy they've shown a lot of interest in at the combine and with the top 30 visit. He is overaged. That's a scouting expression. It's a guy that's old, and we don't know, by the time that second contract comes up, they're going to be like 30 years old. So
right. Yeah.
I feel like you kind of get gypped with that. As far as trading up, I just feel like we're in a pretty good spot to get what we want. I don't think the edge players that I'm talking about are worth trading up for because they have the character concerns. I feel like if we sit there at 19, someone great who fits a need and a talent perspective is a top guy on the board will be there for us. So I would not really consider moving up this year.
Tom, trading up?
Yes, I would definitely trade up if someone will take Jamel Dean for us. But other than that, no. I wouldn't trade up. I mean, we don't have enough draft capital anyway, and there's enough good players that 2 or 3 of them are going to come down to us at 19, and we'll get good players. I want to make a prediction though. If we don't take Campbell in the first round, Knight will be our pick in the second round.
Okay.
We will pick a linebacker, and it will be Knight.
Huh. So you're pretty positive the Bucs are going with linebacker.
They have to take the linebacker. No, I'm saying if Campbell doesn't go in the first round, that Knight will be the pick in the second round.
Oh, okay.
Because we have to have a linebacker. We don't have anybody playing linebacker. So Campbell or Knight are, in my opinion, heads and shoulders above the rest of the guys. Knight's old, but he's a very good player.
Hey,
he's not in Campbell's.
Don't be an ageist, man. That hurts my feelings. Don't be an ageist.
Something else interesting I've heard about Knight.
It hurts my feelings. Do you want a 25-year-old linebacker?
If he's good, I'm fine with it.
So something else interesting I've heard about Knight is if you look on the Walter Football rumors section under Dallas, they have they believe, based on their sources, which who knows what that is.
I knew it was going to happen. I was sitting there texting these guys. I'm like, time to get ready to go up. We will get back with you, Rampage, on that. Unfortunately, Zoom only gives us 40 minutes. So we should have done the other service that doesn't have a time limit on it for this chat, but good. And we need to practice that for the live stream coming up with the draft Thursday. If you guys aren't aware, we're going to try and do a group live stream. So if you want to get in on it, show up, and I'm going to have a link in the description, and you'll be able to join in, talk, camera, all that good stuff, just with your phone or your computer, whatever. Don't need no special software or anything. So we'll be able to do that. Rampage, I know, man. Sorry, man. I'm gonna text you here in a little bit. Dallas loves Knight at 44, so he may be gone by the time we pick in round 2. Okay. So that's going to be their second round. So we need to get him if we're going to get him. Where are we picking at in second round? We are draft. Somebody will tell me before I get it. This always happens. Before I'm able to look it up, somebody puts it in chat. Let me see. We are 19th overall in the first, round 1, 53 in the second. Okay, so we could. They're 44. Yeah, so they would. We'd have to get him in the first. No. Whew. Anyhow, that was good. Good chat, man. These guys know what they're talking about. I enjoy it. They've taught me a lot about drafting. Because as you know, I'm a football guy, NFL. Don't really pay much attention to college. I've been trying to get into the draft prospects. We did a lot of it last year, and I think this year we've kind of outdone ourselves. If I do say so myself, I think we've done a pretty good job of rounding things up. I wish we would have started it a little bit more, but we're going to keep doing it the rest of the week, and then we're going to have the live draft on our show Thursday night. Now, I did, as I was telling Rampage and Tom, I was able to watch game film of Jihaad Campbell. I've got a list of, these are all the guys that I've got film on. Shamar Stewart, Nick Scorton, both edge rushers. James Pierce, edge rusher. Michael Williams, edge rusher. I got Cam Skatibo, the running back. I just wanted to watch him. I watched a couple plays of him, and I was like, ooh, I like this guy. He looks fun. Malachi Starks, I've got game film on him. Jalen Walker, I got game film on him. Donovan Ziruka, whatever his name is. Tom, I know. It's an impossible name to pronounce. And then I've got one other guy that I didn't write down. I grabbed him at the last moment. I put the link in the description for this guy. You know, he had the all 22, and I went there while we were chatting, and they're all gone. He took the film down. I don't know if he got copyright striked or whatever, but it's all gone. He's got NFL games on there. So I don't know if it pops back up, I'll put the link back in there. But I was able to look at Jihaad Campbell. Now, I tried to come at this from a perspective that I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm not a college football guy. College football is a different beast than the NFL. I realize these guys are young, especially on the defensive side. They just don't get the same exposure to the NFL offenses, NFL level, and the speed and all that good stuff. And I've always felt like college defenses are kind of anemic, you know, especially when you compare them to some NFL defenses. So when I'm watching these defensive college players, I really got to try and take it with a grain of salt that they're not going to be polished like what I'm used to seeing in the NFL. So I did take that into consideration. I'm trying to get Mike Green game footage. I did find, this is very exciting to me. Like I said, I spent all day Saturday watching game film. I did find for next year complete game film for almost everybody in the draft in college, almost all the prospects. So next year we're going to have game film. As soon as the season is over, we're going to start looking at game film of college prospects. So I'm excited about that, man. I was like, why couldn't I have found this, a couple months ago? We could have been doing this, but I didn't find it until Saturday. But I'm excited about it. Costs pretty penny, Pat. It's not cheap. Anyhow, I watched Jihaad Campbell, and I'm trying to find my notes here. Hang with me just 1 second. I have got, where'd my notes go? This happens all the time because my baby comes in. I let her sit on my lap and watch Bluey, or she likes Booba on Netflix. It's a hobgoblin that doesn't talk. She doesn't really talk, so she relates to him. But anyhow, she sits here and plays with all the stuff on my desk. She'll like put up dolls and everything. And so usually by the end of the day, my desk looks like a hurricane hit it. So right now I am trying to find my notes on the game film. Okay. Here we go. All right, I was able to watch 2 full games of Jihaad Campbell. I watched every play, except for special teams. I didn't watch special teams. I watched every defensive snap he did. And I got Georgia and Vanderbilt. Now, Georgia, they look like a more conventional team. Vanderbilt played a lot of tricky stuff. Now, are you going to see that in the NFL? No, most teams don't play that tricky, but they do play quite tricky. You're gonna have to be expected to see some of that stuff that Vanderbilt was putting out there on the field. So I got a pretty good taste of what you're going to see with a kind of a standard NFL or football offense and a non-standard football offense. Vanderbilt really did some wild stuff. Plus, they were wearing all black uniforms, and it was hard to follow the ball. I had a hard time following it. So when I watched the first game, I was really impressed with Jihaad Campbell's ability to follow the ball. And he was able to jump routes. He could see plays before they developed, which I liked. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Vontae David. I was impressed with that. I actually wrote it down. It was one of the things. But with Vanderbilt, he was getting fooled all over the place. Of course, he wasn't the only one, but he was running to the wrong side of the field. He was jumping routes that, it was a handoff instead of a pass, and he's like trying to jump routes for interceptions, all this good stuff. He had an interception with Georgia, and I don't feel like Georgia's quarterback was very good. It wasn't an interception where I was like super impressed by. I'm not taking anything away from him, but it was a really, really bad read and a bad pass by the quarterback. But he did take advantage of it. He caught the ball. He had to jump up and catch it a little bit. So it's not like it bounced off his face mask or anything. So gave him credit for that, but do take into consideration that Georgia's quarterback, I didn't feel like was very good. And then I looked him up and he's like rated like the 15th prospect quarterback in the draft. So that tells you that. If this was last year's draft, you'd get an A+. Yeah, Campbell going to Atlanta. A lot of people are saying that now. I know I'd heard about it a couple of mock drafts back, but it seems like it's gaining more speed. Rampage thinks he'd be surprised if Jihaad goes before the Falcons. Joe, you think the injuries are going to make Campbell drop? Okay. If Campbell gets past Bengals, he is ours. Okay, all right. And the Falcons need edge rush. Falcons need a lot, don't they? They didn't do too good on defense last year, which is pretty. But here's what I'm going to say about Jihaad Campbell from what I saw, and take into consideration that, one, I don't know what I'm talking about because I don't evaluate college football players. And two, I only watched 2 full games. They might be 2 bad games. I think they were beginning of the year games. I didn't look at the schedule. I'm going to try and watch that LSU game that Rampage or Tom was telling me about so I can get a better understanding. But here's what I will say about Jihaad Campbell, and I'm pretty confident on this. He's not a thumper. The guy is not going to give you the hits and the tackles that you want to see from a linebacker, that I want to see from a linebacker. Now, I made a video with all this, but my video editing software, it was the first time I'd used it in this scenario, and I ended up losing some clips and things were janky. And like I said, I spent all day Saturday working on it, and I don't think I'm going to put it out. But so this is my summation of it. He's not a thumper. He's not a big tackler. He's not very physical. What he is, he's very fast. I was actually surprised at how fast he was. Now, I had heard that he was a 5-star prospect recruit coming out of high school as an edge rusher. But what I saw, he did play edge on a couple snaps, and he got nowhere. I mean, he just got shut down. And anytime he blitzed, which he blitzed quite a bit. Alabama blitzed quite a bit with their defense and their linebackers. He didn't get anywhere. He just could not get through the line. He didn't have any moves, which really surprised me. He tried the bull rush one time from the edge, and the tackle just completely shut him down. But he's very fast. I saw him catch a guy. A wide receiver caught the ball and was running down the sideline, and Campbell ran from middle field and caught this guy. He ended up horse collar tackling him, but he ran and caught him. And he did that a number of times. He can catch guys from behind, wide receivers. He's fast. Extremely quick with his lateral movements and change of direction. He kept up with every single receiver out there. His number one thing that I would say, if I had to say what his number one superpower is coverage. He was fantastic in coverage. I mean, he was running those guys, the wide receivers' routes, probably better than they were. And he was sticking to guys like glue. And he was doing really good with anticipating their routes, and he was, how I complain about Todd Bowles and he's got guys running the spots. Campbell, would run back and he had his spots, but he was real quick to identify where the play was going and abandon his spot and go and try and jump routes. I really loved seeing that. That was really nice to see. But his coverage abilities were, he looked like they're an elite cornerback, out there. And he was covering wide receivers. He had no problems whatsoever covering running backs and tight ends. But when he covered wide receivers, he was running with them. Hip movement, everything was great. I was very impressed with that. But he's not physical. He's not a thumper. And his tackling, I don't like. I just don't like it. He missed quite a few tackles, and he actually, in the game against Vanderbilt, they needed a stop. And he missed a tackle, and Vanderbilt ended up getting a first down and won the game because of him missing a tackle. He stands upright. He tried to stop a running back on the 5-yard line, and running back hit him right in the chest and drove him back right into the end zone for a touchdown. So his tackling, he doesn't like physical. He doesn't seek it out. If he's seeing guys already making a tackle, he'll just let them tackle. He's not going to jump on the pile. He's not going to get involved. He's just not a very physical linebacker, which, in today's NFL, it's probably not a bad thing, but I like the thumpers, His biggest weakness, by far, his biggest weakness is getting blocked. He was getting blocked by anybody and everybody under the sun. Like I said, when he blitzed, he couldn't get through. As soon as he made contact with somebody, that was it. He got blitzed or got blocked by wide receivers, fullbacks, running backs, guards, centers, tackles. Everybody was blocking him, and he just couldn't get off of the blocks. He didn't really try that hard either. So, maybe that's something Levante could help him with, teach him. I don't know. But it is such a night and day thing, because, it's what I brag about Levante. That's his superpower, is you just can't block Levante. And to see an inside linebacker that just gets blocked up, very consistently. If the guy can get hands on you, he's blocked. Didn't like that, but great coverage. And he can change directions just like a cornerback, a wide receiver, and he runs those routes right with them. I was very impressed with that. And to be as big as he is and to be able to move that fast and that quick, I was surprised when I read how big he was. I was like, man, he's out there like a cornerback. Very, very impressed with that. Vanderbilt, though, he had a hard time with Vanderbilt. They were very tricky, and he had a hard time diagnosing the plays and maintaining his gaps. He was just very confused with what was going on quite a bit. And like I said, he was missing tackles and all that good stuff. But, if you were to ask me right now, and he's the only player I've looked at, if you were to ask me, should we pick him at 19? I would say no, just based on that. My fear is that we're wanting a coverage linebacker so bad because of the disaster with KJ Britt last year, and because we don't really have anybody to do that. And, that's more of what linebackers do anymore, cover wide receivers and pass catching tight ends. That we're going to see that with him, and he's got the measurables and all that we could take him, but I'm just worried about his lack of physicality and his getting blocked up. But he getting blocked up, he could be taught not to do that. You can't teach speed, we always say that, and he's got that in spades. And it's not just running a 40 fast; it's football speed. That guy is fast out there. His change of direction was incredible. Just watch him. He could spin, he could twist, he could backpedal. He never looked slow. Beer can check. You like to see the front four pressure and our linebackers drop in coverage. I was not a big fan of them blitzing Levante David last year like they did. Not a fan of it. I mean, he's not a bad blitzer, but to me, it's kind of like what they did with Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett's, he was a premium pass rusher, and to drop him in coverage 30% of the time, that's like taking your quarterback and turning him into a wide receiver. You're like, you've got Patrick Mahomes, and you're going to put him out as a wide receiver. I mean, that's just silly, and that's kind of how I felt with Levante David. I mean, his forte is not blitzing the quarterback. So for them to have him blitzing as much as they did last year, I was not a big fan of that. I agree with you. I'd much rather see him drop back into coverage or diagnose plays. That's really what he's good at, is reading the plays. And you can't do that when you're blitzing. So smash that like button. Breakfast for dinner, man. Yeah, what is for dinner? Molly? She told me the dinner was ready whenever I'm ready to eat it. Yes, yeah, Tom, 100%. Yeah, that Campbell, he besides the Vanderbilt game, which I want to watch more film on him so that I could get more examples. Because at Vanderbilt, they were very, very tricky. They were playing some old school football and wishbone and just a lot of options. Against Georgia, he was great at diagnosing and dropping off of his guy and going to where the ball was going to go. And I love to see that. I think that was great. He did get burned one time doing it, but it wasn't crucial, But yeah, he was very good. Very good at it. So I'm going to watch some of these other guys. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make videos though, and that just really makes me sad. Molly said I should do a video, kind of like what I'm doing here, just a summation video. But I like to show you guys the film. But I know college is pretty strict with their film. But like I said, I've got pretty much a lot of our prospects, Stewart, Scorton, Pierce, Williams. I put Skatibo down there because I love the name and the guy. I watched a couple of his plays. Man, he's a dynamic running back. He looks funny. He reminds me of 49ers running back. Malachi Starks, Jalen Walker, he probably won't be there. And is he going to be an edge or is he going to be off ball? Don't know. And then I got that Zirioko, whatever. So I want to get as much of these guys in as I can. And in order to do that, I'm probably not going to be able to make the video or make a video with them showing their footage because that just takes too much time. Hamburger in a bowl. Is it? Is that like hot dog on a stick? Hamburger in a bowl? Hot dog on a stick. Is that like a hamburger with no buns and you just put it in a bowl? Do you fill the bowl up with ketchup? I like ketchup on my hamburger. And some cheese. I'm giving you a hard time. All of them are taken in front of us, Joe. The Saints and the Panthers are picking back to back, I think. And then Atlanta is at like 14 or something. Let me see. Okay. I'm just going to type it in and look it up. NFL draft order. I probably got this open already somewhere. And of course, I get AI that throws some stuff up, but I don't want your AI stuff. Okay, so we got Panthers at 8. Actually, it's in the ticker down there, actually. Panthers at 8, Saints at 9, and then Falcons at 15. Okay. I think, are we going to see some trades this year? I don't know, man. We got some weird players coming in. You know, that really kind of throwing wrenches in the system, I feel like. You know, like the two Colorado guys. Did y'all see that Deion Sanders retired their numbers? His son's number, and what's his face's number? The other one, the cornerback / wide receiver. I'm like, you know, it's a little premature, I think. Travis Hunter, yeah, Travis Hunter. Abdul Carter. They're saying Travis Hunter to the Browns. I don't wish that on him. I really don't. Oof. Abdul Carter to the Giants, man. Does everybody agree that Cameron Ward's going to go first to Tennessee? Seems like that's a reach. And you need a quarterback, but man, you know, Cameron Ward is the #1 overall pick. I don't know. Will Campbell, offensive tackle, projected to go 4th. I love to see the offensive guys get up in there. Top draft picks, man. We're looking to shop our pick, Bucs. That'd be interesting. Wouldn't surprise you. You never know with this group, man. You never know with Jason Light. You never know. He is he's a tricky one, man. He likes to keep everybody on their toes, including us fans. Panthers are a mystery, man. In more ways than one. You know, LMH, I want that Scativo, man. I really do. The running back. What's he projected to go? Let me see. Scativo. I'm not even sure if I'm saying his name right there. Scatbo. Man. He is projected to go 133rd. So that's way down the list. We could get him. We might could get him. But yeah, that'd be funny. We were coming up with names for Bucky Irvin and Scativo. Somebody told me how to pronounce his name, and I can't remember. Scatbo, Scatebo. What were the Buckbo, Bucks, Scataboos, Scatabucks? We had. Panthers and Saints are going to take offense, and Falcons are going to take defense. Yeah, that sounds about right, Joe. Panthers, man. They're going to be bad for a long time. So hopefully the Saints will drop to the floor with them. MH, man, for 20 years, we had the NFC South was such a tough division. We were really the only team that couldn't consistently stay good. I mean, they just, it's just great quarterbacks in our division, man. Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, Drew Brees. I mean, gosh, this division was tough for a good solid decade. It was the best division in football, I think. You think Rampage Ward is going to go number one? Yeah. Abdul Carter. Yeah, he's going to be the first defensive guy to go. Mimbo is better than Campbell. You think Scapboo is too slow, Rampage? I'll tell you what, he was fun to watch. Just on that little bit I watched. I only watched a few plays. I was like, whoa, this guy's he's fun. He's what do they call him, joystick player? Where he's just like juking all over the place. So Bengals are going to pick defense too? Scatman. Where is Cincinnati picking? They are 17. Okay. Yeah, pretty confident Falcons are going to go defense. Dallas might. I don't know. You never know with them people. Carolina is definitely not going defense. We say that, but they're so messed up over there. They might go special teams. Who knows? Is he kicker here? Jaguars, goodness. They're picking fifth. Didn't they just give their quarterback like $250 million? Oh, man. Every time I think of that, I just... You think we're getting Jihaad Campbell? Bucs, after watching the game film, and again, like I said, I don't know how to evaluate college players. It'll take me watching all this film and then probably most of next year before I really get a grip on what we're looking for, or what you look for in the college guys, especially on defense. I don't know. Campbell just kind of scares me. His lack of physicality, and getting blocked up. You can teach that. You can teach getting off blocks and stuff, but the whole physicality part, I don't know. I like linebackers that have that, physical mindset. Tesla, calling the professor. Is that how you spell it, with two A's? He's Tesla. Oh, you know what? It's because he's got two A's in his first name. Isaac Tesla. Yeah. Okay, what's up, man? I got your email about the donating blood. They give out gift cards. Duval. That still cracks me up. Liam and Bowles standing next to each other in the coach's picture. I don't know what to think about that. For one, you go, all right, they don't really care. They're coaches. They're in the same fraternity. They're like, eh. Shouldn't you be a little upset with the guy? And was Liam doing it to troll to the NFL? I mean, do you get to pick who you stand by? I don't know. I think there's probably a lot behind the scenes that would be an interesting story that we'll never hear. I do hate how the NFL is so secretive. I want to know why those 3 referees got fired. We'll never hear that either. There's a lot in the NFL that, just that's why one of the things that bothers me with NFL sports reporters is they're not really reporters. They read stats, you know, or they'll have, players will tell them stuff, But they're like investigative journalists where they're like hunting down stories and stuff because so much crap happens. And you're like, how did you not know that? You're in the locker with these guys. It's like Winfield Jr. I mean, come on. I mean, the guy was like literally jerking off in the locker rooms. And this was common knowledge. But yet we didn't hear about it until after he goes to prison. Like, how do you not report on that? So they're not, to me, they're not really journalists. They're more data guys. They just read stats. They read stats and talk to players and coaches. They're gossip mongers. I guess that would be it. Atlanta coach likes a good linebacker. Yes, he does. He also likes a good dose of the nose candy too, I think. MH, for weeks now, all the mock drafts had us getting Jihaad Campbell. And like Rampage says, mock draft is not real life. But it just seemed like Jihaad was but then the past few days, man, it seems like everybody's now switching to saying Atlanta's taking him. And I know that one draft guru, Anderson, whatever his name is, he just came out with his thing and he said, we're going to take an edge rusher. Atlanta's going to take Campbell. So now that seems to like kind of solidify it in everybody's mind. Tesla. Does Atlanta have any pass rush right now? Who do they still have on their roster? They've got, who'd they get rid of? Oh, no, they ain't got Leonard Floyd. Okay, so I appreciate that, brother. You're the man. Leonard Floyd, Morgan Fox. I want to say out. No, they ain't got no pass rush. I mean, these guys are like new to the team. Floyd played with San Francisco last year. Buffalo and San Francisco. Yeah, I don't even know who these guys are. Who do they have on their roster as a starter? I ain't got nobody. Oh, David Onyemata. Okay. Morgan Fox. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, they need a lot of help on defense there. They got that Jesse Bates safety. He's good. I like him. As high as 9 on Campbell. You know, like I said, man, I got to know what I'm looking at with these college players because I'm watching Campbell. I'm like, man, he's got way too many weaknesses for me. I mean, he's got some good stuff. There's no doubt about that. But like I said, the physicality and the not being able to get off blocks. So not being able to get off blocks really bothers me. But like I said, that could be taught. The physicality, though, I'm like, you know. Going and up as high as 9, top 10. That's where the money's at, right? It is a code of silence. As I said, MH, there's the NFL is the only sports franchise in American history that has never had a referee scandal in over 100 years. I'm like, yeah, no, they're just very good at hiding it. That's why I want to know why those 3 got fired last week. Atlanta going D-line, yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Yeah, they lost my boy, the guy I've been watching for years, who I've just always said he's underrated, doesn't get the attention he deserves. But Grady Jarrett, where'd he go? I want to say the Giants, but that's probably not right. He was a beast. I'm glad he's gone out of our division. Chicago Bears. He went to the Bears. But that Onyemata, he's good. The Sabrina Carpenter battle pass. My my daughter likes Sabrina Carpenter. She likes that song Thumbs. I like it too. She plays it all the time, so it grew on me. Yeah, Seattle's got to replace DK Metcalf. What happened with Seattle, man? They just they exploded. Not in a good way. The trade for Parsons mid-season to our linebacker room. Huh. What's up, Tony? All is fantastic, man. How you doing? We are sitting here prognosticating on what the Buccaneers are going to do Thursday. Hey, we're going to do this is the plan anyhow, a group chat video for the draft. So if you can make it, show up. And we just click on a link and you can use your phone or your computer, whatever you feel like, and just join in. And we're all going to sit around and talk about the draft and mock everybody in front of us that picks dumb picks. Kason knocking it out of the park. Kason got all the money. I appreciate it, brother. You trust Lake? He makes it interesting, that's for sure. It does seem like he hasn't really had a bust draft yet. I mean, he's had plenty of players that haven't panned out, but he hasn't had a draft yet that I don't think where I've gone, well, they all sucked. And Tampa's had quite a few of those. Let me look back. Last year we got Barton, Tyke Smith, McMillan, Bucky Irvin. Oh yeah, that was a great draft. Great draft. I like McMillan. I think he really came on at the end of the year. You know, he took Palmer's starting job, and I really like what I saw from him. I like his toughness was what impressed me the most. I think little dude out there fighting. Year before that, Kalijah Cansey, Yaya Diaby, Cody Mox, Sevassier Dennis, Payne Durham, who I really like. Josh Hayes, I think that's Tom's favorite cornerback. Jose Ramirez, which, you know, I want to see more of him, more snaps. Okay, 2022, Logan Hall, not the best pick. Luke Gedeke, Rashad White, Kate Otten, Zion McCullum, Jake Camarda. What happened with him? That's another one of those where I want to know behind the scenes what happened with Camarda. He was great. I loved Camarda. And then poof, gone. Keeft. Andre Anthony, he's not even in the league anymore. Hey, did y'all hear about that draft prospect that ended up he got into the car wreck and was going to court for manslaughter, and then the NFL disinvited him from the combine or whatever, and then he ended up I didn't know how to say it without getting you're not allowed to say these things on this platform, but he ended up taking the alternate way out of living. And, you know, the NFL, you know, I think they need to stop doing that. You know, when there's accusations and they kind of jump the gun, you know, let stuff play out in court. I don't like it when they do it with the guys, you know, like they did with the punter in Buffalo. I mean, I think that was Buffalo's choice to do that, but still, I'm just not a fan of it, man. We live in the land of innocent till proven guilty. We need to act that way. 2021, Tryon Shrianka, Robert Hainsey, though. Yeah, Jalen Darden, KJ Britt, Grant Stewart. Okay, maybe 2021 was not the best. We got Kyle Trask, though, in that draft. And Jalen Darden, remember him? Man. Yeah, so 2021 draft, that's one where you could say that was a stinker. At JTS, Kyle Trask, Robert Hainsey, Jalen Darden, KJ Britt, Chris Wilcox, Grant Stewart. I liked Grant Stewart, and then we traded him to Indianapolis. Oh, that was a heartbreaker there. But then 2020, you're talking Trista Wirfs, Whitfield Jr. Those two right there make it worthwhile. Keyshawn Vaughn is still in the league. Where's he at? 49ers. I think he was practice squad with them, wasn't he? He saw, with the 49ers in 2024, he saw how many snaps? My goodness. Not many. Oh my goodness. 3 snaps. He got 3 snaps last year. Oof. And then, of course, 2019, Devin White, Sean Murphy Bunting, Dean, Mike Edwards, Anthony Nelson, Matt Gay, Scotty Miller. And then 2018, yeah, you know, yeah, I mean, you look at a lot of these guys. Noah Spence, gosh, you remember him? I tooted his horn for years, waiting for him to turn the corner, man. He never did. O.J. Howard, Chris Godwin. I mean, we got some Hall of Famers on here. Ali Marpet was great. Mike Evans, of course, yeah. So Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Vita Vea. Tristan Wirfs, Antoine Winfield Jr. Gedeke. I'm going to put Gedeke on there. Kalijah Cansey. I like the 23 draft. I thought it was nice. And 24 draft is turning out really well, too. Braswell, want to see him do something. Oh, man, gosh. Wouldn't say he was horrible, but he just showed me nothing. Tyke Smith, really liked him. Jalen McMillan, really liked him. Bucky Irving, really liked him. Graham Barton, I think he did great. Yeah. Yeah. So I agree with you, man. I like drafts. We need a linebacker. I concur. It's just, inside linebackers are just, they're not what they used to be. What are we looking for? Are we wanting a coverage linebacker? Are we wanting a thumper? Are we wanting can you have both? That's a big question. Are there any Kuechly's in there? Are there any Levante Davids? Or are those type of linebackers just not around anymore? I don't know. Devin White, he went to Oakland, right? Because KJ Britt went to Chicago? Miami, that's right, because we traded, yeah. We didn't trade, but Alexander and Britt switched. Yeah, with Godwin, hopefully Godwin will be able to recover like he did with his knee. Yeah, Mr. Hunter is the GOAT, K-Son. No doubt about it. We'll put that up there. He's good people, man. Is anyone injured from the Bucs? We've got, yes. Godwin, of course. Trying to think, who else do we have? Shaquille Barrett, we don't know what we're doing with him yet. We're going to re-sign him or anything, but I heard he was in rehab. Don't know why. Trying to think of anybody else. So if I say Dennis, he's on the mend, right? So Opeta, he was hurt, but we brought him back. So apparently he's good. So yeah, I think we're good except for Godwin. And hopefully Dennis will be good to go. Savassier. I thought for sure Godwin was done. I thought that was the end of his career. I mean, y'all saw me. I was depressed. I was angry. How was that not a hip drop tackle? And they didn't throw a flag. I don't think they threw a flag all year for hip drop tackles. But then they did fine him, but then they rescinded the fine on appeal. I was like, what? I mean, if they're going to do that, just take the rule out. Just take it out. Sean Tucker and Bucky Irvin. What are we going to do with Rashad this year? Yeah. That whole Devin White situation, man, it was like after and he mentioned something, about high-level Buccaneer guys, like front office guys wasn't there for him when he needed them to be. And I noticed when his dad died, it was it was under tough circumstances and all that. That's when his play just, he just basically quit. So I assume that's what he's talking about, Don't know. But his head was just not, yeah. He was done. He was done with the Buccaneers. And he talked about he was going to be $100 million, the first $100 million linebacker and all that crap. He ended up going to the Eagles for chump change. Didn't even make it on the roster. Tesla. Hey, Kate. How you doing? Schlesinger? I don't have him. I don't have his game film. I'm excited, Kate. I got game film on all the guys. And I've got access to like just about any player I want. But we're going to say that for next year because I don't have time to go over guys now. It's too late. But I do have game film, complete game film, full season on quite a bit of the our first round prospects and second round guys too. Jihaad Campbell's the only one I was able to get through, and I was only able to get through 2 games with him. It's a busy weekend. So I'll look into that Schlesinger, see what he. Yeah, Servase was pretty good. I wish we could have got a full season of him. Just see how he holds up. Reddick, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in, but anything could happen. I don't think he's going to be the elite player we're hoping him to be. Did we? I was thinking about this. Have we only won one playoff game under Bowles? Let me see. We lost last year. We won against the Eagles. Oh, no. Okay. Well, so we beat the Eagles twice in the playoffs. Yeah, we've only won one playoff game with Bowles, and that was against the Eagles in 2023. And we played 4 playoff games. We've lost 3 of 4 playoff games under Bowles. I don't like that. It's nice to get to the playoffs because you get, extra football, but man, we got to start winning some games. That Dallas game was so embarrassing in 2022. I mean, it was our defense that they just laid an egg. And I want to go back in my notes and look at Jamel Dean. He was healthy, but he didn't play on defense. He played special teams. There's something I can't remember what it was with him in that Dallas game. Yeah, we stomped the Eagles. That Commanders game, man. Can't believe we lost that. Lions game, that was good. That was a close game. That was good. We put up a good fight with them. But the Cowboys game, Eagles, we stomped them. Commanders game, we should have won that, man. We should have won that. There's no way we should have lost that game. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do, Rampage. Yeah, let's do that. Whenever whoever we draft, we're gonna tear up their game film. Watch, we'll be angry going into the season. Yeah. Tony, I get so frustrated with Bowles. I really do. I'm not going to call for him to be fired. I did that in 2022 and 2023, and I feel bad for it. I don't like to call for players to get fired or coaches. I'll let the opposing team do that. But man, I have a hard time with Bulls sometimes. Last year was tough, man. It was tough to not call for him to be fired last year. I was this close. And Rampage and Kate almost talked me into it, man. That was tough last year. I don't like these middle of the season losing streaks. And having to, and we didn't win the season. We didn't win the NFC South. The Falcons lost it. They could have won it. And they ended up crapping the bed. So it was really nothing we did. I mean, we won when we needed to win there at the end, but if the Falcons would have won, we wouldn't have even made the playoffs. Yeah. So that was the Falcons gave us the NFC South. I'll take it. But I prefer to win it. We shouldn't have lost that game, Joe. It shouldn't have even been close. Now that I said that at the beginning of the year. I love Cliff Kingsbury. I think he's definitely head coach material, and it ain't gonna be long before he's head coaching somewhere again. He got shafted at Arizona, I think. But I said when we saw the schedule, I was like, I'm so glad we're playing the Redskins in week 1 before they get rolling, because they're going to be tough. And sure enough, they were tough. I still think we should have beat them in the playoffs, man. Was Liam checked out at that point? Because he did not call a good game. He did not call a good game. So maybe he was already thinking about being a head coach. Oh, the Rams game, man. That's like a dagger in every Buccaneer fan's heart. Tony, I will say this. I think last year we did a great job with getting pressure. Our front four, the first time we've done it in years. Our front four did a good job. But there was always somebody open, and quarterbacks were able to just dump the ball off. It was so annoying, especially when Keynes came back. When Keynes came back, they really were getting pressures on a consistent basis. But the quarterbacks were just able to get the ball off, man. I mean, they were throwing at covered guys. No quarterback feared our secondary at all. But I do believe that our pressure was good last year. For the first time in a long time. Very long time. And especially when Kancey came back. I think that we were consistently getting pressure, and our coverage was just it was a lot of it was a scheme. It was just ugly last year. And I told y'all about Bowles saying he figured out he had a breakthrough as to why the coverage wasn't doing good last year. So hopefully we'll see some change there. I think we will. Worried about the new offensive coordinator change? Yeah, MH. Yeah. I agree with you. We might not have the top-rated offense we had last year. But I think that Mayfield and Evans, just those two alone, they're going to keep us in the top half of the league. And Bucky Irvin, I think Bucky Irvin's going to keep us. I think our offense will stay good enough, even if the coordinator can't get his bearings quickly or throughout the season. I think those guys can rudder the ship. I'm going to miss those funky handoffs and stuff from last year, though. I like that with Liam. Man, I was so angry with him. Oh, even now I still get remember how happy we were when he announced he was re-signing with us. We were like, yes. And then like 2 days later, stabbed us in the back. Oh. Canty had made every tackle his way. Did you see Canty? They were talking about that Pro Football Focus stats, or no, it was Next Gen stats. Come to find out, Next Gen. You know, they with like the they got all the technology and stuff, and they were saying that Canty, when every time he was near the ball, he'd like made the tackle, and he came out and he said, "Nah, he could think of one where he missed," and he like explained it. I thought that was quite humble of him. And then he turns around and he was like, "You're looking at the guy that's going to get the most sacks next year in the league." I agree with you, Rampage. I don't think he's going to be able to do it because he's an interior guy. But you never know. He might pull a Warren Sapp, though. He's incredible with his moves, his hands, man. His hands are unbelievable. Oh, Cousins killed us. Cousins did not fear our secondary at all. He was throwing right into coverage, and there's a reason why no quarterback feared our secondary, because they didn't do anything. The ball would zip right by their face, and they'd be like, "What?" Ugh. Yeah, I think our O-line's going to be better too. I think Mock's going to step up. Hopefully Barton will step up. You know, I mean, he's got, you know, it was his first year. I think he did good. And he unfortunately waited for the bad snaps till the end of the season. And that Washington game. But Breedison, I think Breedison, we're going to get what we saw. I mean, they're going to get better because they're all playing with each other, but, you know, consistently. I think they did great considering, you know, a bunch of new guys, a couple of new guys, and then Cody Mock, you know, I think he was most improved. I know Rampage doesn't agree with me on that, but the leap, Mock was so bad in his first year. I mean, y'all heard me. I was questioning whether he should even be a starter last year, but he did good. Did okay. No, Tony, I don't think so. I'll be surprised if he's on the team this year. Talking about Jamel Dean. Jamel. That was tough, MH. I mean, Cousins was just throwing it wherever he wanted. That was hard, man. That was a hard game to watch. I like Zion, too. Trading Rashad White. I could see us trading Rashad White. I wouldn't mind us trading Dean, but I don't know if people are going to want his salary. I mean, what are we giving him? 15 or 20? Too much, I think. Which really sucks because I was such a huge Dean supporter for so many years. And now I'm just over it. He can't stay healthy. You know, and him leaving in that playoff game against Washington, that just really hurt us, man. We had Josh Hayes out there covering Terry McLaurin. Or one of the Hayeses. I forgot what I was even looking at. Oh, yeah, I was going to see how much we were paying Dean. I know we looked this up last week. I remember when we re-signed him and gave him that money, him and Carlton Davis. I was like, whoa, I mean, that's way too much. And I was a fan of him then. Yeah, $15 million. I think whoever we traded with, they'd have to swallow 13. That's a lot. You know, for a guy that's got 1 pick six in his career, 8 interceptions total in, what, 7 years? How long has he been with us? 7 years? No stats in the playoffs. He's only on the field about 75% of the time. I don't know. I agree with you, Joe. 100%. Can't stay healthy. Yep, Tony. That's his biggest knock, man. That and playing 20 yards off the ball at the snap. Playing that soft zone coverage. It's just like it's almost like he's scared now. You know, like he plays scared. Yeah, Bowles loves him. Bowles loves him some Jamel Dean. Bowles loved Devin White too. I mean, I was surprised when Bowles let him come back and play that game for us. And, you know, from what I heard, it was the front office that let Devin White go. Bowles didn't want to let him go. That's the rumor. So, all right, guys, I got to get off here. Go get me some hamburger bowl. Rampage and Tom, I'm going to hit y'all guys up, see if y'all want to do tomorrow night as well. Because we got to get as much draft stuff in as we can before Thursday night. And I feel like we just don't have enough time in the day. So if I can get y'all back on here, I'd appreciate it. And it's getting close, man. We got 3 more days. 3 more days. Then we get some new players, some new toys. Excited. We need to do some group mock drafts, man. Like we did last year. That was fun. Where everybody votes on it. All right. Anyhow, I got to go. Guys, I appreciate it. It's great hanging out with you. And until next time, go Bucs.